Finally, I can talk about witchcraft. Hello, good evening, everyone. This is High Priestess Jamila. I've been a little tired all day, but I've been hanging in there. Good evening. This is High Priestess Jamila. Welcome to this discussion. I want to come and talk to y'all about whether or not witchcraft is legal or illegal. Or is it against God's law? Is witchcraft really against God's law? Okay, well, we'll talk about man's laws first. So the good news is that if you do witchcraft against someone, it is not illegal to practice witchcraft. Okay, thank goddess it isn't illegal, because good grief, there would be no world. There's a huge difference between, going to your deities or either asking your ancestors or either, maybe even other stuff, especially, and I believe only if someone is trespassed on you. I think that the cost, for example, like if you're not in dire straits, and sometimes even if you're, even if you are in dire straits, thieving and trespassing upon people, it's not a good look. In fact, of course, people that live that way typically do have a harder life, whether or not they're stealing big or stealing small, because it's your conscience that will mess with you. If you're not clearing out your conscious, if you're not clearing out the subconscious and, able to release yourself, then that would be emotional bondage, okay, that you're putting yourself in. So, that's why it's important. Now, um, for example, if it is meant for you to lose something, then you're going to lose it. If it's meant for you to lose it, you're going to lose it. Sometimes, hey, Mary, hello. Sometimes divine intervention comes in because maybe, your spirit guides or God or your higher powers or your ancestors want to lead you to a better thing. And you may even be doing it yourself. Okay. A lot of the things that are happening to us are happening because of our own subconscious thought process. Okay. So that's why it's important. That's why a lot of people tend to stay away from people that are very negative and very pessimistic about everything. People that are not necessarily feeling good about their future in general. That's why people tend to stay away from those people because that negative energy can rub off. Um, Without witchcraft, this world would be crawling with evil. Witchcraft, when I think about that word, it represents balance. It's two syllables. Witchcraft is very balancing. You cannot explain this world through logic alone, and you can't go throughout this world disconnected from your emotions either. Because with your emotions and you having the ability to have a conscious, this is something that's going to be useful for you. That's what we're learning from the whole twin flame paradigm. Um, because, you're hurting other people because you're hurting yourself. That's why you do that to other people, because you're hurting inside of yourself. And so then that makes you want to go out there and hurt others. Um, there are some people that are willing to take on your emotional pain because they are very sacrificing, but it can't be to the point where they're being sacrificed to where it's affecting their personal health, it's affecting their personal safety. And so that's why we're not supposed to be too empathic. There needs to be a balance. Okay, like I said, if you were being attacked by an animal or a bear or any other entity or person, if you have a will to survive, then you'll be able to make it through that. If you have no will and you just say, oh, I'm ready to die, then the animal's going to eat you. Okay. So, in a sense, nature within itself is evil as shit. It's very evil. But at the same time, where does that negative spirit? Well, first of all, bears and lions and tigers, if you come across one of them, they're probably going to eat you unless you have the ability to be very calm. Unless you have the ability to be very calm and you can connect to the animal in a sense where the animal will not feel that you are a threat, and it'll probably leave you alone. Probably. Um, I I personally would say, well, I guess you could say that that's sort of a hillbilly way of looking at it, but I've been hunting and stuff before. I think hunting is a nice sport, but a lot of people probably don't like to hunt. Hello, Jacksonville. I was talking to somebody today, and I was talking to them about their parents' will or somebody's will. So this is money that is promised in the event that that person dies. And I was talking to this person about the fact that sometimes that within itself can keep you in bondage. I personally was never meant to have anybody have that kind of power over me. It's just not necessary. It's morbid, it's stupid. It makes no sense. It's selfish and it's all about control. Um, for my loved ones, if I love them and they die and they don't leave me nothing, I'm still gonna love them. So that don't matter to me. But sometimes when somebody's trying to hold something over your head and they say, I'm gonna write you out of my will because you're not doing what I want you to do. Sometimes you have to walk away and let go of someone else's will because that's them having power over you. So that's what the Ace of Wands is about. When somebody is holding power over you and you say, no, I'm not going to allow you to have that kind of power over me because, in the process of you holding this over my head, my life is passing me by. By the time I get your will, I'll be probably too old and sick to even enjoy it, or just too old, or just, I want to enjoy life now. So I'd rather be the Ace of Wands, which is to go and replant myself and grow from there. That makes sense. But so many people are stuck in certain mindsets because they have allowed people to program them. And the programmables, the people that are programmed, they want others. They don't understand people like me. Sometimes they can't stand me because I represent that liberation and maybe they're afraid of it. Okay, we're not talking about her. I'm gonna put you in timeout, Deep Thought, but thank you for telling me. Just wanted to make sure I blocked her name out of my chat. So you have to think about that. When we think about the things that we allow people's will that they hold, or what does will mean? Will means a person's intent. That's what will means. And so the universe has been screaming at all of us, literally. And I think they're going to start that excavation next year of that gold asteroid. It's gold and platinum. They're going to start excavating it next year. I think China's going to go up there, and then America is going to go up there and excavate from that. You can't explain to people that have limited thinking that, okay, think about it. Uh, um, when you think about the average will, of the average person, their job is probably going to give you what, 25,000, 50,000. Why would you allow somebody to have power over you when you can go and make 10 times that amount? And if you just enjoy people having power over you, get in a BDSM relationship. That's much healthier. I'm joking, guys. It's a little side joke for the people. So, like for example, tomorrow, and maybe even tonight, because I'm not going to be here long. Probably just a couple of more minutes. I am going to be contacting my people about getting, this business that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't think within limitations. I don't think, oh, I'd never be able to do that. I don't think that way. I used to. And you know what? I was content. But sometimes the universe and your omniverse and the plexiverse is going to make you feel very uncomfortable because there's change that's needed sometimes. So that's why sometimes you just have to roll with the punches. Um, Things like losing your house, getting sick, that means that you're at the end of a curse. That's not just something. I mean, if you're losing a house filled with mold, if you're losing a house filled with, you know, bad spirits. There's haunted places out there. In fact, when I get off of here, I want to watch me some haunted places videos. I love those videos. They're sometimes better than scary movies. I think I might watch that. But there's some places that are really haunted and people can't live there because people will get sick there, people will die there, people will get violent. There's some locations that are just not good. That's why before y'all buy houses, y'all should get that house read and blessed. A lot of y'all people are living in houses that have not been blessed by a high priestess. That's the problem. And us high priestesses, we can do house blessings from a distance. Okay, just to let y'all know. And house cleanings. We don't have to necessarily be there, but you have to give us permission. So I don't just go and do work for people and say, I'm going to make you do this. Now, no matter how bad it gets, you can't force spirit upon nobody. You can't force people to help themselves either. So, witchcraft is very much legal. And the universe supports it. If somebody does something to hurt you, you have the right to say, hey, this person trespassed upon me. They tried to do this. They committed way more crimes against me than I ever imagined committing against them. Talking shit, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So, and that is the truth. As far as with words, now you got to be careful when you're slandering somebody. Witchcraft is not stalking somebody, and witchcraft is not teasing somebody with words. That's not witchcraft. Yeah, you're being manipulative because you're trying to, make that person feel some type of way, but that's not considered witchcraft. That is considered to be, that's like child's play. Witchcraft is a much more complicated system. And trust me, it gets more complicated as the years go by. Oh, yeah, it is a trip. My journey with Hecate, oh my goddess, you know, when you take a walk with Hecate, Hecate, that's how they really pronounce her name, Hecate. Okay, is actually how it's pronounced. But some people pronounce it Hecate. So witchcraft is very much legal. That's why people have to be careful what they do to people. Have to be careful. And then also witchcraft exists on a futuristic level. Like, for example, if somebody is planting negative seeds in your life of destruction and they're trying to plant them in your garden, spirit will look at the domino effect that they may have and crush that person with them because they may have already been messing with other people and they might need the lesson. So spirit will actually look at what can this person do that can have a domino effect. Now, how do you get rid of that energy? How do you really get rid of negative energy? Because a lot of people, some people feel that we're just passing bad energy back and forth. You have to transmute negative energy. Negative energy is always transmutable. I don't care how dark it is, it's always transmutable. And the reason what transmutation means is turning a negative situation into a positive. Some people, they'll just make things worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until you end up trapped by the devil. And it's only a wise person that would be saying, let it go. Time to let that go. That's called beating a dead horse. So if you're trying to practice witchcraft, ain't no, come on now, don't nobody have no 5, 6, 10 years spiritual warfare. I mean, they say that the average spiritual contract lasts for 6 years. I haven't agreed to any contracts with anybody. So You have to sometimes agree to those contracts. And once you get a certain age, your parents can't do it for you unless you're an invalid. Okay. Where'd my chat go? Did y'all actually leave this enlightening conversation to go listen to that silly woman? I was about to say, I guess a couple of people did. Hey, let me tell y'all something. That lower vibration and that lower frequency of that crap, because even when I'm supposed to be on a low frequency, I'm very high when I'm on a low frequency. So I don't go on low frequencies. Just because you respond to a low frequency person does not mean that you're being low frequency. That means that you're talking down upon them from above, is what I look at it. Yeah, I was answering the question, and is witchcraft legal? Is God okay with it? It depends on what you think of God. Now, universally, I believe there is a universal God. Okay, whether or not you think of it as the higher aspect of self or a separate, some people look at it as separate. I like to look at it as separate because I like to know that, it's somebody else other than me that's doing it. Because trust me, I don't have to do all of it. For real, y'all. I will take some help. I remember my sisters and my cousin, they had to come over here. They had to help me clean up the house and everything. Boy, I was just a mess, and I was so grateful for them sisters. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to kick somebody when they down. But then again, people that are down ain't got the right to be kicking nobody. The people that are down ain't got no right to be trying to pull other people down. Unless it's somebody that you love, then you be willing to go there with them. So there's a lot of rules to this, and it makes sense because you can't change yourself as a human. You can't remove the heart chakra. You can't remove the throat chakra. You can't remove those things. Okay. And you can't block them. Now, a lot of people are still trying to figure out psychic vampirism. The secret, because psychic vampirism, y'all listen. Psychic vampirism is at the bottom of the totem pole. The way that you deal with psychic vampirism is healing. You have to heal. When you heal, you get stronger. If you are hurt and your chakras are broken and your vortex is broken or it's off balance, then yeah, you're going to be extra sensitive to being fed off of by everybody. But if you are somebody that has your chakras balanced and you know how to ground yourself, and you've got to learn that. So that's why I did that grounding video for my clients, and people were getting upset about it, and I just didn't understand it. It's like, what do these people want? And I realized that there are some people that they are used to feeling a certain type of way. They're just used to feeling a certain type of way, whether or not it's good or bad. Empaths have got to heal. That's why you're so susceptible. That's why you can't leave the house. That's why you get overwhelmed by certain energies. And then also another thing, if you're not healing the crown chakra, actually, and we all can tell when folks' crown chakra is not healed. And again, it ain't got nothing to do with how much hair you got on your head. Okay, it depends on the health, but it ain't got nothing to do with hair. It's the way a person carries themselves in general. Do you carry yourself with a lot of confidence, or are you codependent? If you're a codependent person, then that means that your crown chakra is broken. Okay. So you have to, the chakra systems, and please believe that there are other chakras. I believe we have an ear chakra too, and ankle chakras and leg chakras. So, you know, so yeah, witchcraft is legal. People, if you practice witchcraft against people and it fucks them up, they can't make up some crime against you. Or if you do witchcraft against somebody and it manifests in their life in some kind of way, whether or not it's good or bad. Yeah, that's why that temperance card always has a halo. It has a gold crown around the head. People that are very codependent have a broken crown chakra. And so the coronium is all about the crown chakra. So that's why, so learning how to do that is so important, even if you're a client. Even if you're a client, you should know how to control your mind, your body, and your spirit. So, what a lot of witches will have happen, and this is true fact, is just like Beyonce. Remember that lady tried to sue her for doing witchcraft on her? Witches can often be threatened because their witchcraft is working too. So then people will, you know, so you can get threatened just because your witchcraft is working. You can get attacked. People will try to make up stuff against you because, they know that what you're doing is working, either for yourselves or on them. And people don't have the right to impede on you. I think that people that have a tendency to do that, they probably weren't given very many boundaries as a kid. I know that for me, I spent a lot of time alone. I was very independent. Um, I could cook for myself at the age of 6 and 7. I knew how to make sandwiches for myself. You know what I'm saying? I just was a very independent, smart kid, and wasn't codependent, and didn't really become codependent. Wasn't really even codependent, but I was a little codependent while I was raising my children, which is understandable. But you don't have to be. So that's what we're doing over here. We're healing people. Don't listen to the static and the liars and the frauds. Make sure that y'all get in the Yule circle. Because when people don't think that what they're doing is upsetting you, they'll go even further to try to upset you and get into your skin or get under your skin. And that's the truth. Bad people, people that are bored, people that are bored in life and don't have anything to do, they can be our worst enemies. They say idle hands at the devil's workshop. So anyway, for witches to be getting threatened with legal action by anybody, and literally you've committed no crimes against anybody. Okay. Sometimes the evil entity can point fingers at you and you like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I would never let that demon turn things around on me. That's not even necessary. See, things that's just not necessary, y'all. I just don't do it. I don't do unnecessary stuff. Yeah, that's kind of something that's like, oh, you're going the. So I don't do that, and it's stupid because at that moment that you start doing stuff like that, you're putting yourself in chains. I feel sorry for a lot of these kids of parents that are going through divorces. They are totally taken over by demons. Complete strangers. People will get so overly emotional and distraught that they will begin to let complete strangers make decisions for them. And you can't do that. Like, you have to be able to settle your differences. People trying to set people up on crimes and stuff. And what is wrong with people? Those things are unnecessary. This is what we call a bunch of unnecessary bull hockey that makes no sense. And you know what? I've seen people try to set people up. Here's the last thing I want to say. Trying to set people up, you end up setting yourself up trying to set people up. Don't ever try to do that. My aunt hates that. You know, the deity that literally rules the courtroom, which is my aunt. Like every time you walk into a courtroom, she's there. And she gonna look at you and go, sometimes, you know, and then they make the decision. So you have to be careful when you're not doing things with a pure heart, when you're doing things with a foul intention. You know, people are so wrapped up in their own hurt and pain that you don't have empathy for others. Did anybody ever consider what the other person is going through? Because you don't, because a lot of people are selfish, and spirit is going to teach you to stop being so damn selfish. You just go through life playing victim and you don't think about what the other person is going through. You only think about you. What about that other person? You're going to have to start doing that, especially y'all that have a calling. You are not going to go anywhere with that as long as you're doing that. I got accused of lying and all this stuff yesterday. And it's like, people making accusations at you and all kind of stuff. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Did you ever stop to think about me? Oh, okay, the person that thought about you when you was in need. And so now when I need you to think about me and be empathetic towards me and throw away your ego for a couple of minutes for me, oh, you can't do it. So then that's where the karma begins. Spirit looks at that. Spirit looks at human suffering and they won't let you do it. You cannot harass and victimize a person for years and years and years and ever turn that around on them. You know what you owe them? You owe them an apology. You owe their ancestors an apology. Nobody should have to sit there and constantly be reminded of the people that may have done something to hurt them that did not make up for it. And for me personally, I feel like a lot of people have more than made up for the stuff they've done. I've let a lot of that stuff go. If you're a person that can't let it go, then you are headed for self-destruction. Because everybody has their rights and everybody don't have a weak root chakra. That's when you don't have no will. That's when you don't have no free will. And, you know, you have to make decisions very wisely. You can't make decisions based upon fear. You have to look at the situation logically. You have to look at it from all standpoints. Because spirit is going to make you do that. They're going to say, well, you did blah, 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 blah. You did this. You did that. And they're not going to let you lie. There are some people that are pathological when it comes to being a liar, though, because they lie so much that they don't even know what the truth is. So, you know, and the reason why I'm saying this is because Spirit wanted me to say this to some of you guys that have gotten lost in the sauce. You cannot ever victimize a family of people and then go back and try to switch it around on them. Because trust me, not only will it be Ma'at, but it will also be Kali Ma. You have got to start paying attention to your decisions that you make that may affect another person in a negative way. And you need to at least think about it. People that do shit without thinking, they have the worst luck in life. That's just like me. If I do black magic, on somebody, or if I do a breakup and I know that it's black magic, which I don't ever do nothing to nobody that don't deserve it. I ain't fucking around. I'm not an idiot. Because I know eventually, sooner or later, it's gonna have to catch up with me. Okay, and spirit is very fair. Oh, Ma'at is justice. And see, that's why narcissists are very dangerous to themselves, because they will victimize others and then play victim. They will do things to others and then play victim. They will toy and toy and toy with people emotionally and then play victim. Yeah, spirit does care about human suffering and the things that you've done to people. Spirit also cares about the babies. Spirit cares about women. It was only that patriarchy that made it that way, which is very evil and ridiculous. It's so hateful. And, if you want to live a life that's built on hate and hatred and negativity and manic depression and bipolarism, and you just then that's exactly what you're going to get. And you can't walk around life taking every goddamn thing for granted. Because when you take so many other people for granted, you take yourself for granted. You treat others the way you want to be treated. So when everybody decides to pay it forward and everybody decides to start doing right by one another, then we won't have this problem. But trust me, the people that did wrong and the people that started it, when you look, you notice how in everyday life, when a person is being attacked, and they'll say to that person, well, you started this with me. And they'll say, oh, you're saying I started. But it's very, very valid in the courtroom. It's gonna uphold in court. If you try to falsely accuse somebody or sue somebody, and go to the courtroom and you're the plaintiff and you explain to the judge what happened, and the defendant there that you were falsely persecuting is standing there, they have the right to say to the judge, hey, this person did this to me. Oh, I'm here, Your Honor, because this person did this to me on October the 18th of 2018. The defendant, because it's innocent until proven guilty, okay? The defendant can say, hey, listen, this person had been doing this to me and did this to me since October the so-and-so. And I got tired of it. I didn't get, you know what I'm saying? And the judge is going to look at the other person and go, what? Trust me, I know. I watch Judge Judy faithfully. She's my favorite judge. And when a woman walks up in a courtroom and says, I was victimized and nobody listened to me, you better believe that that courtroom is going to be all ears. Just because shit ain't fair out on the streets don't mean it's only unfair to the criminal in the courtroom. Now, if you are being falsely persecuted and you need that work done, then maybe you do need to bring in your ancestors and maybe you may have a situation. Okay. Now, I do know that there has been a lot of corruption when it comes to that. I can only speak from my spirit. Every time I go up in a courtroom, I win because I don't do things to people. I don't bother people. I don't touch nobody's property. I don't harass people with an intent to harm them or hurt them. I have not, well, you know what? Let me take that back. I have had to throw people's crap back at them, but that's because those people did it to me. But as far as my loved ones, I would never do anything to anybody that I love with an intent to hurt them. And you guys have to be more understandable to your loved ones and say, listen, I understand. I did this. I know why you did that. And then you move on. You don't keep being in denial about it. You fix it and move on. You don't just go back and forth and go over and over and over and over again. Because after a while, that person that you just insist on having this negative shit with, eventually the person that you're throwing that stuff at is going to start transmuting it. And if you wrong, you wrong. Wrong is wrong is wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong. Period. If you are causing any of God's children emotional pain or anguish, nobody wants to hear what you have to say. You are causing emotional pain to a person literally for no reason. You don't have no alibi. And that's the way spirit sees it, especially when it ain't nothing but words and letters that mean nothing. Words and spoken words that basically mean nothing, and nobody's actually been hurt. So then you notice that people just start to try to create some kind of violence and chaos. And some people, they just don't know how to stop. You've been trying to mess up a person's life for years. You don't stop. What makes you think that anybody will ever see your side to that? They never will. That is not the way this world works. Hey, Jen, trust me, that ain't how it works. You have to be able to say, I'm sorry. You have to be able to say, you know what? I was wrong. Maybe I'll do this to make up for it. The person that is being said sorry to should then humble themselves, and they should say, they shouldn't stand over them and say, well, I think that you should bend down and lick my boots. Spirit don't like that either. I don't need no, you don't tell nobody you should be grateful for that. That's God's gift. That is a gift from God. Now, I am very good at conflict resolution. Surprisingly, if it's somebody that I don't get along with, it's just because they don't want to get along with me. I'm one of the easiest people, easygoing people to get along with. In fact, sometimes my kids would run over me because I'm so easy to get along with. So y'all got to release that stuff. You know how you have to release yourself from that. That's bondage. I've been done release myself from anger. Have y'all noticed that the only reason I come on here and I talk about family narcissism is gracious. Hold on, y'all. The only reason why I come on here and talk about it is because there's so many people that are still going through it. I'm back, y'all. Sorry. And you can't expect people to forgive and move on from stuff that you continue to do. You can't say, hey, let's work this out, but you're still doing the same thing that you've been doing. Whether or not you do it in front of that person or behind their back, you literally plotting and scheming against people. That's bizarre. It reminds you of Ricardo Lopez. Whoops, what the. All right, y'all, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, you know what? The one thing that God told me, God said everything happens for a reason. So, there is a reason why, and sometimes, even when my kids do stuff that's bad, it ends up being a blessing in the long run to where you think something is bad, but it's actually something good. Because I don't like bondage and I don't like broken records. I don't like going back and forth over and over again. I don't like doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised that I've even been able to keep myself sane during this. But sometimes you have to go through things over and over again. It's the same thing with a generational curse. It's a repeating cycle. You're just constantly in that cycle over and over again. And you have to do that brain entrainment. You have to rewire your brain. You can't just live like that. You're not going to live like that. You're going to have a lot of problems. So, that's just, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, I am available for consultations tomorrow. So if you guys want to get set up for a consultation, the link to because what is it? Is it the full moon yet? I think it's full moon. Happy full moon to y'all. Also make sure that if you're not in the Yule circle that you get in it. Okay. And I will see y'all later. All of my links are below. I gotta go. I just had to come and say that. I was supposed to be taking a break. They just won't give me a break. People just will not give you a break when you ask for it, when it's supposed to be, when you're supposed to be humble, you're supposed to have humility, you're supposed to say, okay, okay, okay. Obviously this, and some people just don't know when to say when. So, I am going to try to get breaks tomorrow. Like I'm definitely going to stay offline tomorrow for real. I've got to have that because I've got a lot of stuff to do around the house. I got cleaning to do, or straightening up more so, because I got some stuff I got to take downstairs. I got stuff I got to bring up here. So I have a lot of stuff that I have to do. And, honestly, I guess a lot of people would say, I don't know, like there are some things that you can say that it's totally preposterous for it to cause a blow up. So that's why you say it. And it's not that you're gaslighting anybody. It's like, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, 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 no. Totally unjustified. I'm sorry. So I'm going to try it again to get me some rest tomorrow and not be attacked and not be harassed and not be lied on and not be, just you literally, it's just horrible. It's not people, it's the same person. I don't have problems with people like that. It's the same people. It's the same issue. Be different if it was more people. It was the same people though, Jen. It's the same people. Like, come on now. Why is it that I get along with other people? Why is it that I don't have no problem? Why am I only having issues with you? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, I can admit, you know what I'm saying, and I've asked Lakshmi to purge me of my sins. I can admit that maybe, I did go a little too hard on people, but you know what? That was what spirit said to do. And literally uploading a photo of somebody should not be the end of the world to where they're trying to kill you and destroy your family. I'm sorry. Uploading a photo to somebody should not be that. Announcing news should not result in being publicly thrashed and harassed. No, that's not. No, sorry, there's no excuse. If you do that with your loved ones ever, you need to learn how to love better. For real, I know I have stopped doing things like that to people that I care about, but I care about me. And today, you know what? I felt protected all day. For some reason, I feel this overwhelming sense of protection, and it's coming from my own body. So, it's insane how narcissists play victim sometimes and been playing victim. A narc will stalk you to death, be obviously stalking you. And then when you ask them, hey, why are you doing that? You're stalking me. What? I'm sorry, excuse me. And stalking has to be a repeated period of time. It has to happen on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Unless somebody done came to your house and knocked on your door. Why is it that the people that actually came to folks' house and knocked on their door and threatened them or not? Why didn't nobody go? Where's the justice on that? Are we trying to misplace the justice? I dropped somebody's documents. I did those things to people. I don't think so. And so people like that are always looking for a fall guy. Honey, I ain't gonna never be your fall guy. Trust me, I am not the fall guy. And I couldn't believe it. And people like that, they just don't care. They're ruthless. And over here we get justice. We don't get all that other stuff. We get truth, justice, and the American way. That's only fair. And the reason why I get justice is because I feel it in my root chakra. That's how I was able to protect my children. Because I said, these are, I'm not gonna let nobody hurt my babies. And I'm like, you tried to kill people and they kids, and why are you even still here? Girl, child, I got to go. I'll see y'all later. Peace and love.